It was supposed to be the perfect family vacation. 2 blissful weeks of hiking, swimming, and roasting marshmallows under the stars. For the Stevens family, the annual summer vacation to a rustic cabin in the woods was the highlight of the year, a chance to escape the stresses of everyday life and reconnect with each other. As they pulled into the long, winding driveway, 11-year-old Emma eagerly looked out the window. The familiar sight of the weathered log cabin, nestled among the towering pines, instantly filled her with a sense of delight and comfort. This place had always felt like a second home to her. "We're here!" exclaimed Emma, nudging her little brother, Liam, who had fallen asleep in the back seat. Liam stirred and rubbed his eyes, a sleepy grin appearing on his face as he surveyed the familiar surroundings. "Finally," he said, already unbuckling his seatbelt. Their parents, Sarah and David, exchanged relieved smiles. "Okay, let's get settled in, kids," Sarah said, guiding them into the cabin. "I'm sure you two are ready to travel." Over the next few days, the family fell into a familiar and comfortable routine. Mornings were spent walking the trails, identifying various plants, and looking for animal tracks. Days were spent swimming and fishing in a nearby lake, and evenings were spent building campfires, stargazing, and roasting marshmallows. Despite the calmness of her surroundings, however, Emma could not shake off a growing sense of unease. Sometimes, peering into the shadowy tree line, she thought she caught a glimpse of movement, a flickering shadow or a strange, distorted shape. And at night, she was often awakened by the eerie howls and creaks that seemed to come from the forest. Waving away her fears, Emma tried to put them aside and enjoy her vacation. But as the days progressed, the disturbing phenomena only grew more intense. Liam, too, became increasingly restless, often refusing to go out alone and clinging tightly to his family. One evening, as the Stevenses gathered around the campfire, there was an unnatural silence in the woods. The familiar sounds of nocturnal wildlife suddenly ceased, leaving behind an oppressive, foreboding silence. After exchanging worried glances, the family hurried into the cabin, locking the doors and windows behind them. They spent the entire night huddled together, jumping up at every creak and groan of the old structure. Emma looked out the window, unable to sleep, trying to see anything in the darkness. Then as dawn broke, a terrible scream pierced the silence, sending shivers down her spine. Shivering with fear, the family cautiously went outside, their hearts pounding. To their horror, they found the mutilated remains of their beloved family dog, Rufus, lying in a pool of blood at the edge of the woods. Liam burst into tears, burying his face in his mom's shirt, while Sarah and David watched the gruesome scene in stunned silence. Shocked to the core, they decided it was time to cut their vacation short and return home. As they hastily packed their belongings, a sense of unease and dread came over them. Something was going on in this forest, and they realized they couldn't stay here a moment longer. During the long drive back, the family remained impassively silent, each absorbed in their own thoughts. Emma, looking out the window, couldn't shake the nagging feeling of guilt. If only she had listened to her instincts, perhaps they could have avoided this terrible tragedy. In the weeks that followed, the Stevens family struggled to come to terms with what had happened. Rufus's death haunted them, and unanswered questions about the dark forces lurking in those woods only added to their misery. They vowed never to return to that cabin, no matter how much the solitude and tranquility beckoned. For Emma, the event left an indelible mark. She became increasingly withdrawn, plagued by vivid nightmares and a growing sense of unease. She realized that something out there was watching them, waiting for them, and it was only a matter of time before it found them again.